Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
It's been another tough year and you've worked hard. Not only do you deserve a break, but your business could be better off without you for a while. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Having a holiday or even a staycation is crucial for better physical and mental health, for more energy and stronger performance. So says workplace expert Michelle Gibbings, who has some guidelines on how to recharge those batteries. And don't we all deserve it this year? She tells Chris Ashmore that 2022 has been a bit of a mixed bag for those in business.
Now, we are coming out of 2 years of lockdowns and COVID. I think people entered 2022 thinking this is going to be a fantastic year. And what we've seen is mixed signals on the economic front. We've had, work from home is still around. People are getting back to the office, but not quite getting back to the way they used to be. I'm seeing an emotional hangover from COVID. People are tired. And so the general consensus is, I just really want this year to be done.
Well, it's important then, is it not, to be able to take a break over the Christmas, New Year's?
Oh, absolutely. It's really important to take time out to pause, really reflect on how the year has been and to give yourself that mental break so that you can then come into the new year really refreshed, ready to go, and to make 2023 an awesome year.
How do you suggest business owners then wind down and recharge their batteries?
I think it depends on the person, but there's a couple of general guidelines. One, if you're having time off, have time off. So that then means, work with your team around who's going to be filling in for you. If they need to escalate something to you because it's urgent, how do they do that? But really avoid the trap of checking emails every day or being on the phone every day, because then you're not having that break. And people often talk about a digital detox, but for some people, a digital detox or even the thought of a digital detox is really stressful because they're like, but that then means I'm going to come back to 2,000 emails. And so I often say to people, you need to work out what's going to work for you. And I know for some people what they do is they'll get up early in the morning, they clear emails first thing in the morning, and then don't look at their phone for the rest of the day. So build those guardrails, the things that are going to enable you to have that time to stop. But you need to actually think about that and put that in place. It's not going to just miraculously happen.
Not all businesses can take a break though. I mean, take retail, for example. It's the busiest time of year for them. Any advice for them?
If you can't take a break over Christmas, look at when you can take a break, because one of the things that we know through research is part of the joy that we get about having a holiday is actually the anticipation of the holiday. So if you can't take time off over summer, look at when you could take time off in February or in March. So have something that you can look forward to. Or as you're leading into Christmas, is it that you could do a long weekend before? So what is it that you can do to have a little bit of space to get yourself ready for a busy time for you?
And what do you do, Michelle, over the Christmas break normally? And what are you doing this summer?
Well, it does vary. Usually, if I go back to life before pandemic, we would typically be overseas. This year, I'm going back to Brisbane to see my parents, but we are going hiking at the end of January. So my husband and I are hikers. And so we're doing a 5-day hike in New Zealand, which will be great because that way you're in the bush and your phone does not work. So there is no choice about whether you're going to be on a digital detox or not because you have no choice. It's done it for you.
It's always good to get out and into nature as well. It just brings you alive, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. And there's there's the physical exercise. So I really like that sense of having some physical goal that keeps pushing you to continue to stay fit. But also when you are in nature and you get, where they call it awe, those moments of you're looking at this amazing, vast expanse of scenery, it elevates you. You feel really good. And if you think about us as humans, we come from nature. And so being in nature is restorative.
Mazars is an international audit, tax and advisory firm committed to helping clients confidently build and grow their businesses. Move forward with Mazars. visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.
Now, New Year's resolutions, are they a good idea?
Well, research will show they're usually all in the bin by, I think, something like a week after New Year's. So typically they don't hold. What I often say to people is it's a really lovely time of year to clear the decks. You want to do some reflection. What did I learn about myself last year? How did the business perform last year? Where do I want to focus my energy this year? You are much better off those setting goals. And with those goals, you then get very clear on your intentions. What are the intentions that sit underneath those goals? And then what you want to do is make those goals visible, because the more you make your goals visible and you make them public, the more likely you are to make progress on them.
And do you make resolutions yourself?
I don't make New Year's resolutions, but what my husband and I do, and we've done this every year since we've been married, and we've been married now for 18 years, is we set goals on our wedding anniversary. And I still remember when the first year we did it, my husband, I think, probably thought, oh my God, she's just put out an Excel spreadsheet. What is she doing? But we sit down and we look at our life together, and we have individual goals and we have collective goals, and we assess, well, where are we now in terms of where we want to be? And we cover everything from financial, spiritual, physical. There's business goals for me, there's career goals for Craig, and we set things as we look forward into the next year to go, what are the things that we want to do collectively? What do we want to do individually? And are we on track to get to where we want to get to?
And at the end of the year, do you check then what you've done the previous year and whether you've achieved those goals?
We do. It so happens that our wedding anniversary is in December, so it's perfectly timed to kind of launch us into the next year. But we do. So I bring along my little spreadsheet to our lunch that we do on our wedding anniversary, and we spend that time. And it's a really important part for us to ground ourselves, but also for us to really reconnect as a couple and go, are we spending the time on the things that really matter to us? And have we made the progress that we wanted to make? And where are the things that we're doing where we're having some fun? Because you need to balance the focus on work with having fun as well.
Absolutely. Now, how do you see 2023 playing out versus what we've seen in 2022?
Look, I do think there's a couple of things that will be different. We are going to start to see more people go back into the office. Work from home is definitely going to continue, but I think the balance is going to start to shift a little bit more into people coming back into the office. People are missing their teammates. And yes, working from home is really convenient for a lot of people who do office-based work. I think you're going to see people start to do a bit more travel, but also I think you're going to start to see people really, the economy, if we look ahead, the economic signals are once again saying that things are going to be potentially a bit challenging. And so I think businesses are going to start to tighten the reins and really start to focus on what do we need to do to actually maintain revenue growth.
So now is also a good time to prepare for 2023. Any tips on what business owners can do to get a good head start?
I think it's that there's a couple of things. Do that reflection. If I go back and I look over 2022, what did I want to achieve at the start of the year? How have I landed at the end of the year? So therefore, what's worked for me? What hasn't worked for me? What are the things that I want to take into 23 because it's been great? What are the things that I want to leave behind in 2022? And then also when you look into the 2023 year, where do I want to be at the end of the year? Those sort of basic planning tools around where am I now? Where do I want to be? And what am I going to do to get there? They are such fundamental tools, but you want to do that at a couple of levels. One, in terms of, the business, it might be around products and processes and systems, but also really checking in with your team. How is your team doing and are they okay? And what do we need to do to make sure that the team continues to be okay? Because I'm seeing across the board, there's almost like this emotional hangover from COVID, and there's a lot of team members out there who aren't okay, and it's really hard to have a thriving business if your team isn't okay.
That was workplace expert Michelle Gibbings. Business Essentials Daily is a SoundCartel podcast. Producers are Nick Schildberger, Chris Ashmore, Jeff Waters and myself. Technical production by Pete Letts. I'm Nicole Goodman. Thanks for listening. We'll bring you more Be Daily next week.
SoundCartel.
This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.